Democratic National Convention 2024 updates. Biden closes opening night. We appreciate you following for live updates from the first night of the Illinois. To get an overview of the night's event, check out our top takeaways here. And hear from the protesters outside the convention hall with this on-the-ground report from correspondent. You can also check out our coverage of campaign with this analysis of her relationship with progressives and an in-depth look at how support might help or hurt her election prospects. President closed the night with a speech that framed candidacy as critical for the future of democracy. We're in a battle for the very soul of. He also touted his record as the outgoing president had one of the most extraordinary 4 years of progress ever, period. The lead-up to speech included a series of speakers who paid homage to his lifetime of service, including his wife and daughter. The lineup of speakers also included Coach and herself a former nominee who ran against in 2016. One of the highlights of the evening was the impassioned speech delivered by a darling of the progressive left. She tore into as an insider who would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets. Trump's track record on labor, abortion, and voting rights was a frequent target of attack during the night. Sabrina O'Day, an uncommitted delegate from Washington state, has said continues to offer empty words. What's going to be enough is an arms embargo on Israel and a ceasefire, and told. To be quite honest with you, has given us nothing but empty words for the last 10 months, she said. Words are not enough anymore. We need to see action. As we've been reporting, the Biden administration has provided staunch support for Israel as the war grinds on. Biden has closed out his speech saying he gave his heart and soul to the country for decades. I can honestly say, he told the crowd, I'm more optimistic about the future than I was when I was elected as a 29-year-old senator. Biden has urged to go out to vote on November 5th, again stressing that democracy will be on the ballot. We saved democracy in 2020 and now we must save it again in 2024, he said. He added, I promise I'll be the best volunteer campaign has ever seen. Biden also has called for an end to the war and said his administration is working around the clock to achieve a ceasefire agreement. But the president, a self-proclaimed, has been a staunch supporter of Israel. His administration has vetoed 3 measures that would have called for a ceasefire. He also approved $14 billion in additional military aid to Israel. The president has briefly touched on the war protesters who have been rallying outside to demand an end to support for Israel. Those protesters out in the street, they have a point, said, without mentioning Israel or Palestinians directly. A lot of innocent people are being killed on both sides, he said, before pivoting to his efforts to secure the release of captives held in. Palestinian rights advocates and other progressives in the have dubbed to denounce his support for Israel's war, which has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians and decimated the coastal enclave. I never have, and I promise you, will never do it, has said. He slammed foreign policy strategy and noted that, under his administration, the re-engaged with its global allies, including, we united like it hadn't been united for years, adding to said, Russian thought he'd take in 3 days. 3 years later, is still free.